Good morning, everybody. It's Friday today. Hope you have had a good week and are prepared for an even better weekend. We want to conclude today on what we've been speaking about through the book of Proverbs on the subject of words, of how to use our words well. We read from James that we can use them well to build people up, or we can use them badly to break people down. The choice at the end of the day is ours as to how we will use these words. I want to wind it in this week on Friday by talking to you about words that I think are so important. I think that we need to use our words to speak for those who have no voice. We live in a country where there is a voiceless group of people around us. There are people who have no power. There are people who are vulnerable to injustice and the will of evil people. And one of the roles that I think so much about and so seriously about is the responsibility of the church and us as Christians to speak for those who have no voice of their own. Jesus is a great example of one such person. Jesus never, you can read it, ever spoke in defense of himself. They maligned him, they were malicious toward him, they misunderstood him, and ultimately they put him in front of Pilate, they judged him unfairly, and you never read of Jesus standing in his own defense. But you don't want to mess with the sinful woman that Jesus stood in favor of. You don't want to mess with the children that Jesus spoke up with. You don't want to mess with the people that Jesus took who were perceived by the world around them to be the untouchables, the lepers, the Pharisees, those who'd been rejected by people for one reason or another. Jesus always spoke up for those who had no voice of their own. Think of the time that at the temple, Jesus threw those people out of the temple who were ripping the poor people off. And he spoke so strongly on their behalf. And I get a picture for us today of what the church should be like, where we should be speaking with equal strength and in fact vehemently for those who have no voice and cannot speak for themselves. Proverbs 14 verse 31 says this: "He who oppresses the poor shows contempt for their maker, but he who is kind to the needy honors God." You see, the kindest thing that we can do for some people, if we're not able to feed them or not able to help them in their particular extent of their need, but we can always speak on their behalf. I know that there are people in our church and in our community whose voices have incredible power, who have incredible authority. If they would just leverage that influence to speak on behalf of those who cannot speak for themselves, how amazing would that be? And I get this picture of heaven applauding people who do that, who take and leverage their influence on behalf of others. We should be known as people who speak for those who have no voice. The prophet Micah puts it so beautifully, where he says that this is what God requires of you, is to do justly, is to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. People are saying, is it that simple? I think it is. Do justly means to speak for those who are vulnerable, who cannot speak for themselves. Love mercy. Don't judge people. Raise people up to a higher level. Be merciful in our speech towards those around us, and walk humbly with our God. And we'll be talking about that on Sunday. I hope you will watch. But I want you to listen for a moment to Candace and to Lizanne singing a song about doing justly and loving mercy and walking humbly. I'm not finished yet. I have one more thing to say, but please won't you listen to this beautiful, beautiful song.
You have shown us, oh God, what is good. You have shown us, oh Lord, what you require. You have heard all our songs and how we long to worship you. Yet you told us the offering you desire. To do justly, to love mercy, to walk cause of the poor. You have called us to be your hands and feet, to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with you, God. You said to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with you, God.
To the oppressed and the broken, to the widow and the orphan, let the river of your justice flow through us. To the oppressed and the broken, to the widow and the orphan, let the river of your justice flow through us. You said to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with you, God. You said to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with you, God.
There is one last thing that I would like to share with you as we close this particular series. We call it deathbed talk, and it's the conversations that happen between people when somebody is about to leave this life to journey to the next. There is such meaningful times at the side of somebody's deathbed when people speak words of forgiveness and last words of dedication and legacy and declarations of intense love at the moment just before they die. But I'm so sad that sometimes we leave that till a funeral to say. Wouldn't it be amazing if those who were closest to us, if we were to say those words to them before they were on their deathbed? If we were to speak words of love to one another, declaring how much we love each other, declaring words of forgiveness for one another over things that maybe somebody's messed up in our life. Maybe we need to ask forgiveness. Maybe we need to do it before we get on our deathbed. Maybe we need to say words of thank you to people around us prior to us waiting for deathbed talk to take place. Won't you think today, maybe even take a piece of paper and write down the people that you are most grateful for. Make a list of people that you may need to forgive. Maybe make a list of people that you need to ask forgiveness from. And do that before it's too late. How sad to wait for a funeral and you're not even there to hear these great words, to be there to hear them. And I would really encourage you to say those words to the people that you love the most. So won't you take this, and I just think of deathbed talk as being one of the most meaningful conversations that we can have. But don't leave it until it's too late. Go and have those conversations now. Declare your love for people and those around you, and do what you need to do so you can leave this place completely forgiven and completely having forgiven everybody, and with all your thank yous and declarations of love having already been made. I hope you're going to do that. It's a great practical thing to do. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday.